live.
Hello, everybody.
Hey guys. And we're live.
Hello, everybody.
Hey guys.
Pounding and banging.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a pretty banging time today. We got a lot of construction going on at Charlie's place. But we'll do the best we can with the noise and yeah.
Hello, Toby.
But I think everything's getting pretty close to being finished. We're on the home stretch with construction, right?
Yeah,
Right, these.
we are. Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all's patience with that. Um,
So, how are things going for you in the jungles of Puerto Vallarta, Yalapa?
so just got to Yelapa yesterday. Team Honey and I have been traveling for the past few days from Miacatlan. We stayed a night in Guadalajara, got a good taste of Babylon there, and and then we made our way to Puerto Vallarta and stayed there for a night, and now we've ventured into Yelapa, but it is absolutely beautiful. I'll give you a quick look around to see the view. This is from where we're staying. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's no cars here. You can only get here by boat. So we ventured in, and yeah, we're gonna be here for a month, and it's a nice spot. It's a beautiful house, beautiful little village, and people seem to be really friendly. So all is well. All is well.
Very, very nice. The downside is that each raindrop is the size of a brick, and there are spiders that make the spiders in Harry Potter look tiny. So
Yeah, the bugs are definitely a little bit more prevalent here. Does make you appreciate Miacatlan quite a bit with the reduction in bugs there. Like we've got the little no-see-ums or the biting midges.
um,
Those things are pretty gnarly. And apparently this year is like the worst year they've ever been. So uh,
it is everywhere, Justin. The weather. This is it. We're in this year, and this is it. So the weather, Canada and most cities in Canada, it's been over 40 degrees. That rarely happens in Canada. Did everyone see the images from Washington D.C. over the last couple of days? Torrential, more flooding again, torrential downpours. There's a tornado warning for DC, and they've had wind gusts of upwards of 70, 80 miles an hour. So once again, Isengard needs cleansing, and the weather is, so you can choose to look at this however you wish, but the weather is insane right now. And here in Miacatlan, Justin was saying again, we don't get the flies here, we don't get mosquitoes here, we don't get the no-see-ums here, because it's nice and dry, and then it rains at night and sun's out during the day and it all dries up, so it's great. But this is now the 10th day in a row where it's kind of been cloudy and drizzly during the day, and then tons of rain overnight. And no one in Miacatlan can remember anything like this ever. And a reminder to everyone, in the Pacific Ocean, there were no hurricanes in the Western Pacific until about 7-8 years ago, and which is all an instrument of the cabal. And kitties, and it has just been just recently, and then now we're being inundated by hurricanes. It's ridiculous. So everything that they were doing is being unleashed. The heat is being turned up by God, and this is that moment where everyone has to choose what side they're on. So it is what it is, and we just have to deal with it the best we can.
yeah, it's this phenomena where God's really encouraging all of us to shit or get off the pot. It's time to make a choice. It's time to we can't be complacent, and whatever it takes, whether it's the weather freaking out, or whether it's financial system going haywire, or whether it's you dealing with family dynamics and the vaccines and things of that nature. Like, there are all these factors that God is just kind of cranking up the heat a little bit, so that we don't have any opportunity to just like lull ourselves back to sleep and to complacency, and to saying like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll let someone else deal with it. I'm not gonna think about that. I'm just gonna go back to watching Netflix or anything like that. So the longer we take to make a choice, the more sort of drastic these measures can come into play. So that's why it's really important that we do the work, we do make the right choice. I mean, or the wrong choice. You can go the other way too if you want to, but make a choice one way or another, and that's how we move through this time period. So yeah, it's all accelerating, that's for sure. Um,
And, I'll just quickly chime in with one other thing is that there obviously there have been some people who chose to make some negative comments and stuff, and I would imagine that soon will all just go away. But they were picking up on maybe some comments or actions of people that came down here that weren't on the right path. But it's interesting because Justin's been doing phenomenally well. So has Aaron. Aaron's over on the Pacific Coast right now, visiting and checking out Santos Bonacci's facility in Puerto Morelos, over on the other side. And Aaron will be back, I think, next week. And of course, Justin is on the West Coast. But here with us every day is Eugene. And Eugene, I think Eugene is still 20, might be 21. But Eugene, of the group that unannounced came down here, Eugene has been doing the work. He is amazing. And here's the thing that I want to share with everyone, because we know that there are people listening in, is why don't you create a chat group that talks about the enormous successes of some of the people that have come down here, and or you just don't care, you just want to focus on the negative. Eugene is just on this beautiful path. He's totally committed to it, and he was having dinner with us last night, just enjoying the beautiful salad, and we had Harry Potter on. And he's just awakening, and he's just catching so many things. And so it was so fun to watch him watching it last night, because every few seconds it was like, oh wow, and catching all the symbology. So focusing on the positive is very, very important, and there are so many wonderful stories that are going here. So if somebody is attempting to spin some kind of negative spell, let it go. Focus on all the amazement that's going on, and I'll be having Eugene on some shows, and you'll get an opportunity to meet Eugene a little closer up front. But he's the real deal. Like Justin, like Aaron, he's the real deal, doing the work. Yeah, and he's taken on so many dogs already, and he's just such an incredible help to us, walking our dogs every day, and we have a ton of them. So yeah, he's great. He's great. He's so dedicated to doing the work. So I wanted to share that with everyone. Positivity, not negativity, because negativity leads to despair. And when you're in despair, there's no God in your reality. God exists in the here and the now, and despair is an illusion, because there are no problems, there is no despair. So you have to fall away into fantasy land, and that's where Satan rules. in fantasy land. So you have to get into reality, which is the here, the now, which is presence, and you can't receive the presence of Santa unless you're in the present moment. So
Beautifully said. Yeah, and then just to add on to that, I'm with Team Honey here as well, and they are very much doing the work, and just these beautiful souls that we are so honored to share this experience with. And yeah, and it's amazing to see what is possible when we do the work, when we truly step into that right hand path and um, go where it leads us, because the abundance just flows and everything just becomes magical. But as Charlie said, if we focus on the negative, then that's what we get. That's what we create. But I do want to draw on an important distinguishment between ignoring the truth and quote unquote, not focusing on the negative. Because when things do present themselves that are very much the truth and what needs to be addressed, we do have to step into that. But it's not dwelling on these negative experiences and creating more problems from them. It's addressing them, dealing with them, and moving on. And it's as simple as that. But we also can't ignore them as well.
yeah, and truth is never negative, never, never, and it's always the elixir. The truth will heal everything. It may hurt in the beginning, but it'll heal anything and everything. That's what it is. It's the truth.
Beautiful. All right. Well, are you ready to bring on our first guest? Yeah. So William, you're going to be up first. And I had some other people lined up today, but no one else has joined the room. So, William, the floor is yours as long as you like. And if anyone else would like to join the Zoom room, I just posted the link in the chat, and you're more than welcome to hop on. Hey, William. I don't think you can hear us yet, so just gotta connect.
And if anyone
There
else
you
would
go.
like to join
Beautiful.
Zoom
All right, William, if you just will pause your YouTube video.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you beautifully, see you beautifully. Cool. Welcome, brother, welcome.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I feel like I know you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we do in a ways, and it's these. I kind of see that we're all on this soul journey where we're all wandering toward the truth, and we're trying to get back to it. And so we've had different iterations where we've had these experiences, and so that's where that familiarity comes on, is because we're already kind of on that inclination of seeking the truth in a more clear way. So there's a great chance that we've met each other before. So it's good to see you again, brother.
Wandering towards truth says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, hey,
yeah.
Can they hear me now?
Yeah, you're live. Everyone can
Oh,
hear you.
wow, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I was I apologize.
No, no apologies needed. There's no, that's the beautiful thing about this community, this family. There's no difference between live and not live. We're the exact same.
What I'm trying to say, I don't want to take up too much time of people's time.
Oh, no. Well, I was just saying that we actually didn't, I've got a couple of people that didn't show up today. So
Cool.
time is not as pressed today. So what have you got to share? What have you got to ask for us?
First of all, I said thank you, Justin, for everything you've done. You know, you're a young man to me. I'm 53 and you're 30.
31, yeah.
31, but you can learn from younger people. The younger, the better. And so first thing I wanted to say to you is I view you as like a pathfinder, if you will. I'm ex-military, by the way. And so I use military language, and I'm a medically retired nurse. So I'll flip back and forth. So I look at you as a pathfinder, and I'll look at you also as a leader.
Thanks, brother.
And
I like that.
No. No. I've been a pathfinder and a leader. That shit sucks. Okay. And you got kicked in the nuts the other day by some jerk off. The hell with them. Just keep driving forward. You're doing your thing. You look amazing. You're doing great. So just shake that stuff off. As far as Charlie, God bless you, Charlie. If you can hear me, I love you so much. my background is I was in the military and combat veteran. And over the years, it all caught up with me. So I'm a disabled veteran now, 100% disabled veteran. But I kept on working as a nurse. I've been an ER nurse for over 20 years in 5 different emergency rooms. And I've worked at, Mayo Clinic, which is world renowned. And my health problems, all of them were done by Mayo doctors. So I've been to the best doctors Western medicine can provide. And the doctors that take care of me are world renowned, and I know them on an individual basis. So Western medicine sucks balls. It's just designed to kill people. And I know I've spent my whole life in service to my country, in service to my community, my family, my children. And I'm so proud of that service, but my life has sucked. It's been beautiful in service and helping save lives, because when you help save someone's life, or you put your hands on somebody who is covered in shit, their own vomit, and you have to calm it down, you have to clean them up and treat them in humane ways. It's just the gift you get from that moment. At that time, all that was going on, I was dying also because of my health with Crohn's disease, losing weight rapidly. It's a horror story, but it all came to an end right about the same time Charlie started talking openly about you can't get life from death. And it was just like an immediate light bulb went off. And I'd already started cleaning things up with the clean meat and no detergents and all that crap. But when I'm like 75% right now, raw fruits and vegetables, and about 80% raw fruits and vegetables, about 20% cooked. Anyway, since I made this amazing change, everything is opened up. Just like everybody's story is you can just check the boxes of, oh yeah, now I can meditate and grounding and sun gazing. It all helps. And it's just an amazing thing. And I wanted to make sure that Charlie can hear me and hear the words of just gratitude. I'm so, so grateful to God to be alive. I've had too many near-death life experiences. And this last years of my life was just horrific. I was dying and working at the same time. And now I'm not. Now I'm living, and I'm not carrying a train of responsibilities anymore. I'm in a position now financially. I sold my house and I bought a van, and I'm going to travel the country. And I live in a van and shit in a bucket. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't really have any world possessions outside of that, And I was near death, like about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago when I retired. And since Charlie got in my life and everything, my God, my life has made an amazing, miraculous healing. It already started that before when God saved me. I had a moment that I had. But my question really is to Charlie is I have a skill set from being in the military and being an ER nurse. I can assess very quickly what needs to be done with someone and apply this truth to that. So in other words, going into a nursing home and talking to a veteran and showing him the aspects of Western medicine sucks balls. Let's get out of here and let me get you into some fruit and vegetables, buddy. And I'll have you in a better quality of life in about 6 months. I can gear that up quick and fast. Now I'm mobile. My question to Charlie is, this is taking so long for this friggin' thing to pop. How past that time of, my question is, in his humble opinion, and I know this is all, everybody's got opinion. Once this disclosure goes off, when will it be comfortable for everybody involved to go and have these conversations about, hey, look, with military people, you can talk bluntly, you can get right to the point, and you can use language, and we can skip all the fluff and go right to the point in the matter like Charlie does, and just how soon can we start doing that? Because you try walking into a nursing home right now and shooting off at the mouth that you can't eat, you can't get life or death. And we live on flat level earth and all that. They're just laugh at you. The people are not receptive on that level. And those are the people that need the help the most right now. They could benefit by immediately changing at least no meat. You know what I'm saying? At least no dairy. And we could bypass the nutritionist, who's a friggin' moron anyways, because they're eating meat and dairy and eggs and all that crap. You see what I'm trying to say? How fast could we get in there to help without being carted off by the police for being a raving lunatic?
First off, William, thanks for sharing everything that you did, your comments about Justin and myself, and the comments. You probably haven't seen them in the chat room, but so many people have reached out to you and just wanted to pass that on to you, and have just said thank you so much for your service to country, service to what is right, service to mankind. So there's just so many people, and Justin and I included, that want to echo that to you as well. Thank you very much for your level of service, healing, caring, saving lives, putting yourself at personal risk on many levels to do it. It makes you another one of the beautiful heroes, and it's no surprise, therefore, that you've sold off your worldly possessions, and you have a van down by the river, and now it's this great journey and to be free. And you're so far ahead of everybody else who's burdened down by mortgages, burdened down by possessions, and all the rest of it. And you're going to be able to make enormous strides and changes to help people in this world. Now, how fast everything changes, I think it'll be very fast. When it occurs is another question. But everyone needs to recognize that where we are right now is we're moving. This is not stagnant at all. It's just that sometimes when you're in the eye of the hurricane, you forget that the hurricane is all around you outside. But this hurricane is moving. This eye is moving at some extreme speeds here, and it may be difficult for people to see, but it's happening. Again, just the weather itself is a key indicator. And of course, this weather can't go on forever. So then why would they do it? Because this is hastening to a point where everything changes, where the drop-off point occurs, and then everything changes. So we're moving. And once we get there, the first thing what everyone needs to recognize is that the people who are behind this takedown of the cabal, they know that everything is a lie. I mean, all you have to do is follow some of the people that work on their behalf on social media. People like We Recommend, Silence Do Good, and Ghost Ezra, and there's a number of other just great people putting out things that the Q and Q team want shown. And now for 3 weeks, everything has been based upon the fake Jews, the Zionists, and what's happening in Israel. And Q always said Israel will be left to last. It's just taking a long time because there's so much stuff. There's so much evil that is attributed to Israel. It's just daily for 3 weeks dumping more and more and more stuff about Israel. So it's happening, it's moving, and when it does occur, it'll move fast because they know that everything has been a lie. They know everything's been a lie. And as I was sharing with Justin before, and others on the channel, is that it's interesting because the one thing that they haven't gone over, I mean, they've done adrenochrome and what's happening to the children. They've done flat Earth. They've done Adolf Hitler and the truth of World War II. And now the whole narrative, the Holocaust, it was perpetrated on the Germans, not this fake group. And so it's powerful, but they haven't touched food. They haven't touched food. So you have to know that this is a huge deal to Americans, obviously. because they've really kept this to the last. They've kept this to the end. And so they know, they absolutely know. And so all of these institutions are going to have to change. And I think one of the biggest things, William, is that moving forward, monies will be made available to those that want to help. That is the basis to any society that involves mankind. When man is involved.
I don't need any money. I got my own money. I have my own everything. I just don't want to be arrested.
and you won't be. But it one of the things that may need to happen in terms of making a difference and making changes now is that you may need to say that I have a service, and what I'd like to do with my service is, you invite me to your place and I'll come over, I'll spend time with you, and I'm going to help you on this path that is straight and narrow and get you started down this road. And it's a holistic approach, and I want to do this. Or eventually, if you do want to, make a nice lean-to by the side of a creek somewhere and invite people to come to you, again, there will be dollars made available for those that need to build infrastructure to be able to help others. So I wanted to reach out to you on that level as well. So you can just do it through your van and move about, and eventually, if you want to create a structure, you'll be able to do so as well. And I think everything is going to change very, very quickly, because everything involved with this system is diseased, broken and diseased, and therefore nothing will be kept sacred. And President Trump and the Q team, they know that about religion as well. So it's everything. Everything is going to get called out, and everything needs to change.
I agree. Everything, like you said, is going to happen, and it is happening. But I've got my own resources. If somebody's got land and all that other stuff, and I can do land, and I ain't running a damn thing. I don't want any headaches. I know what my expertise is, but I'm ready to move and ready to go here in a couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for the van to get here. I'm in some rental place right now, and I'm able to really take care of myself and heal it. And listening to you guys is a daily thing. The Bible studies are friggin' amazing. I'm so looking forward to when we can get back and do it again. I know you're busy. I have a debt to pay to you. That's not the right words. I know. But I am coming down. I will come down if you extend the offer. If I need to, that's great, but that's not the purpose. I'm really good at wiping ass. I'll take care of the dogs. I don't have a problem with that, And I'd like to see everybody, but that's really not the purpose. I'm going to go down in Mexico and maybe winter in Mexico and spring, summer, fall in the States, that kind of stuff. Come and go back and forth. I want to stay, like you said, so where I can have a steady supply of fruits and vegetables all the time. And I know there's veterans in Mexico, and they're going to need some help too. Maybe I could hook up with a veteran who speaks Spanish, because I don't speak shit for Spanish. I got to learn that. But I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to take up any more time, but I want to say God bless you, Charlie and Colleen and the whole family. And thank you for everything. It really has changed my life.
Yeah, and just to add my 2 cents to your question as well. I think it's important as we go through all of this to remember that free will is absolute, and it is always in effect. And so part of the reason why this movie is so drawn out and it's taking so long is because we all have the free will to step into the truth or not at any point in time. So there's so much resistance to this, realizing how much we've been lied to, that's creating this sort of timeline that's much longer delayed than we wanted it to be, because all of us who are on this page are wanting to get a move on. Like, okay, we've seen that, we've come to terms with it, we've been lied to, let's move on. But so for everyone else, you extending service to others to sort of step into that path, I think orienting it in a way to where it's you're making yourself available but not pushing it on anyone is so important, in the sense that free will has to be considered.
And you
So
don't want to get,
sorry.
and I don't want to get arrested.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't want to go to jail in Mexico or the States. I don't want to go to jail.
right. Well, and that's yeah, but it's just part of this realization that I can only help those who are willing to be helped. There, and I really can't save anyone. I can't force anyone to save themselves. They have to come to terms with that. So that's why through all this teaching, we continue to draw on the importance of being that lighthouse and doing the work and going within, because then you provide that beacon to give people an opportunity to see it, to be like, wow, William is doing an incredible job. Like, look at his health. I've never seen him shine so brightly. What are you doing? What have you been doing differently? And then that opens that conversation to where that can happen. But that wouldn't have ever been spurred on if you came at them from this sort of like preaching proselytizing kind of way, but you weren't actually doing the work yourself and they couldn't actually see it. So it's just important to remember that distinguishment between the two and really step in that place of knowing. And that's why in the book of Matthew, when we talked about Jesus healing people, it wasn't him going around and saying, hey, you're sick, I'm going to come heal you. No, he walked around and he knew that people would be drawn to him because of how he was and the light that he shone. And so the only people that he healed were those who sought him, who actually came to him and were ready for that, because that's part of that. You have to be ready to be healed in order to actually be healing. No one can actually heal us. We have to heal ourselves by taking that step and making that initiative. And so just remembering that is really helpful just for all those interactions to know that it has to be free will choice by everyone involved, always.
Good note. I agree. I'm so happy that I was given a chance to talk, and I appreciate it. Very nice meeting everyone.
Yeah,
thank you so
brother.
much.
You're so welcome, William. And as Justin and I always say, these are the best shows because we get to meet the family, and the family is anyone who takes this seriously and wants to do this for the right reasons, and the right reasons are helping others, and that's everything you said is service to others. And like Justin said, you look around at the way society's gone for 100 years. Doctors. You go to a doctor and you look at a doctor and they are sick. You can see it. You can see it in their eyes. You see it everywhere on them. These are not healthy people. And you go to a dentist and the dentist is so busy with his Forbes magazines and Fortune 500, and he's got deals for condominiums on his desk, but I got to do your molar or something like that. I mean, everybody's in it for the wrong reasons. No one is very few are genuine to the integrity of what it is that they've taken an oath to do. And so when you come along and you show this integrity and service to others, it's what Justin is saying. You're a lighthouse, you're a beacon, and people, and that's magnetism. And then people will be drawn to your magnetism. You draw what you require, what you want, and you repel what you don't want. So that's the beautiful thing about starting this journey, William, and going down this path with God front and center, is that, like you were saying, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to end up in jail. United States or Mexico. God won't put you in jail. He doesn't want you in jail. He's in stillness, silence, making all of this happen. We are the motor of the world. Jesus Christ is the motor of the world. We have to become Christ-like to become the motor of the world. And that's what you're doing. You're getting a van, you're getting on the road, and you want to go and help people. That's Jesus Christ, and that's the motor of the world. That's free energy. Because you never once did I hear anything about recompense or money or whatever. I just need to have access to fruits and vegetables. And moving forward, how can anyone claim to own the bananas in Costa Rica or the oranges in Florida? It's ridiculous. It's a free gift of the mother. So your heart and your head, most importantly, your mind, is in the right place, and everything is going to align for you, William. Pathways will present themselves, doors will open at the last second, and you will forge forward, because the path that is straight and narrow can never be blocked, ever. No matter what they do, there's nothing they can prevent people once they're on the path that is straight and narrow. It's just that they make things so hard to find it and to want to start it. But once you start it, you can't stop it. So you're going to move mountains, my friend. And that's what Jesus talked about in the New Testament. Is how we move mountains is by doing the work ourselves. So very proud of you and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Stay in touch. We love you much.
See you on the chat. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, John, you are up next.
Hi, John. John is connecting to audio. The magic. Oh,
There it is. John, can you hear us?
I hear you guys.
Beautiful. We can hear you loud and clear. Hey, brother. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I got to do something here. It's overwhelming me, and this is something I guess I'm just supposed to do. And I've been on this journey. You got to forgive me. I'm watching my wife who's on the couch, and I have to keep an eye on her because I take care of her too. I've known all my life I was special, never understood how. I started going to altar calls 5-6 years old. Gave my heart to Jesus. I did it all. But I was always driven. I was always in trouble as a student because I never accepted things the way they were. I was incorrigible, probably kicked out 5 or 6 times in my freshman year. Always in trouble because I always tested the boundaries. I just didn't believe everybody. And it stuck with me all my life. Anyhow, I'm going to take you through it all. I've had some powerful experiences. On my 11th anniversary, I got remarried to my wife. But 48 years yesterday, I think. But anyhow, on the altar of a Catholic church, the priest remarried us. And something hit me, laid me on the floor, sobbing. 2 men couldn't pick me off the floor. 2 big grown men couldn't pick me off the floor until it was over. And it just hit me, and it took me a couple of weeks to recover and figure out. I was so sore, diaphragm, ribs. And this thing, when it overpowers me, I know what it is. And it has pushed me through many powerful teachers. And long story short, when all this crap started, I was already headed toward the alkalinity because I was diagnosed with bladder cancer, and they cut it out 3 or 4 times. No more, never going back for that crap. I finally found a urologist that's working with me. He says, I don't like what you're doing. I don't understand it, but I respect your spirit. I had to bare my soul to the man to tell him why I couldn't do it. And evidently God spoke to him too, because he's working with me. And long journey, man, I started eating 2 fruits, fruit twice a day, salads. I bought it at the store. If I got organic, I got organic. If I couldn't, I bought what I could get. And the weight started falling off me. I couldn't believe I didn't start it for weight. I was watching my alkalinity. I'd already been working with lemon water, been working with baking soda. Of course, baking soda drove my blood pressure sky high, blood sugar. After about 2 weeks of eating this way, all my numbers went back to normal. I had to get rid of the medication. I was getting low blood sugar. I was getting low blood pressure. I had to get rid of it all. And I've been on this journey, and I've posted. I got a thing on Fans of Dr. Morse on Facebook. I started sharing my journey. I mean, I had stuff coming out of my body. It looked like black coffee and Coca-Cola. And the stuff that goes inside there that floats around and jellies up, it's crazy. But I'm just about near normal. I mean, neuropathy's gone, everything's going away. And it just my family all think I'm crazy. They think I'm killing my wife. 3 months after I started, I went to the doctor and says, what the hell are you doing? I came home and started my wife on this. she had to have neurosurgery. And right now I brought her through. I've helped bring her through by controlling the diet. She eats what I eat. I brought her all the way through 30 years of Zoloft, statin drugs, thyroid medication. I finally got her. We finally got her thyroid working by basal temperature. It's working perfect. You know, I thank God every day. And I'm telling you, before this is over, you're going to see it pour out of me. I'm watching her right now. I'm the only person in the world of all the circle of people I have that has the faith and courage to say that she's going to get over this. And I'm being pushed to share this with people. I have a niece who's got a boyfriend, fiance, extremely sick. They're pumping him with steroids. They're pumping him with antibiotics, and they're just messing with this guy. You know, he's I don't know, probably 40s, 50s, and it's terrible. And today I started talking to her to try to help her, and this thing took me over again. The spirit took me over again. I don't control the words, and I know I just blew her away. I think I scared the living hell out of her. You know, and I know I can shut it off, but I don't want to shut it off, because another powerful experience I had in my life, I was working for a company. They sent me to Texas to install this stuff in their buildings. Okay. It was a Catholic school. And the nun that ran it was telling me how desperate they were. This was going to be their salvation because they were almost broke. They couldn't afford the electric bills and stuff. And I knew by the time I got there, I had studied this stuff. And no, I'm a state certified electrical contractor. You know, I knew it was garbage and it would not save them a dime. And I went in and this thing took me over, and I spilled my guts to this lady. I scared her so bad, she called my company and told me she'd have me arrested if I didn't get off the property. I couldn't lie to the lady. There's something, and I've known all my life. You know, I got family that abandoned me because I told them. I was pretty well assured. This powerful thing assured me that my uncle, who was a World War II, got killed. He was one of the first paratroopers. Got killed over on the big invasion. And I says, I'm pretty sure God has let me know that I'm a reincarnation of him, because they were busting my chops because of the way I was, telling me that, oh, how could you do that? You were named after my brother. You know, he was a World War II hero and all of this stuff. And I says, well, you're talking to him. You know, I says, I don't remember anything, but I'm pretty sure that that's who I am. You know, so none of them talk to me anymore. You know, it's been a long journey, but I don't care what anybody says. For the last over 3 weeks, I started a week of lemon water, a week of fresh grape juice, and another week, a week or better of watermelon juice. I can feel I am vibrating. There's something that's just happened to me in the last couple of days. I am vibrating. I've never felt this so off the ground in my life. I went from 215 pounds to today I'm in the 130s. That's a lot of weight. You know, if I keep going, I'm just going to go on and on and on and on. You know, I listen to you guys. It resonates. I mean, I went with Bill Donahue when Bill Donahue first put the webpage up. I found him, I would say, quote, by accident. I found all my teachers. I lived by the rule, when the time is right, the teacher crosses your path. And I've been that way all my life. You know, it's just the way I have been, but I've never been real. And I went through all the Jesus movement and the Holy Roller movement. I sought the baptism in the Holy Ghost. Well, now I understand what that baptism is. It's Kundalini. It's known by so many names, because I met up with, another guy crossed my path was Dr. Bronner. And Dr. Bronner, I read that soap label and it says all is one, and it all hit me, and I totally understand all is one. And I understood that 40 years ago. So I just want to share. I'll answer questions anybody wants to ask.
Wow, brother, thank you so much for sharing that incredible testimony. And I've just been kind of looking at the chat as you've been speaking, and there is so much love pouring in for you right now. It is unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable.
And I
You,
can feel it. I can
you,
feel it. It's
mm.
crazy.
You are such a gift. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much for all that you do and all that you're doing. It's truly,
It's just truly amazing. You know, it's just 70 years old. It took me 70 years on this path. You know, I've been following this path, and I actually following being led. You know, I was born February 28th at 6:30 at night, and 19th at whatever. You know, it's just crazy. You know, it's I've always been an upstream swimmer. You know, I guess that's why I never accepted the status quo.
yeah,
And
you
that's
weren't,
every. I wasn't meant to be. I don't believe. And I've always had a powerful resonance way back with one of my earlier teachers. Melchizedek. It's always resonated with me for some reason, and I never understood. You know, Melchizedek came out of nowhere. And I have lived my life on total faith. God has provided me. I quit almost $100,000 a year job one time to support my wife in a little home bakery. And and God's telling me this, and I'm saying, well, how can I do this? I have a mortgage. I got this. I got that. And he says, well, just go to Elisha. They asked him to ask to stay with the widow and her son. Well, we only got one handful of meal. He says, well, share it with me. And every time she went in the bag, another handful of meal. Well, the voice says to me, put all the money in a box. When you got a bill, pay it. When you need stuff, pay it. I don't know how we did it, but we did it for a year and a half. It was always there. There was always enough there, more than enough there.
incredible. Well, I want to give you an opportunity. Do you have any questions for us while you're on here?
I had a question. I sent it to Charlie on a private MeWe. I would rather not discuss it here until he could see it. But I just want to say, this thing, I'm fine. My body's really going good. My wife, I know she's going to be. All that's left is the memory to come back. We gave blood this morning they're going to tell me they want her thyroid meds, but basal temperature says she's fine. So I know she's going to be fine too, and I'm thankful. I'm so thankful for. I had to do this to bear my soul because it's been very, very hard for me to do over the years. I shared a lot of this on that fan page with the other people. Tony, I talked back and forth with Tony a lot, text, and I couldn't believe the people that followed me started asking me to be friends, and I was overwhelmed. Bless you guys. Keep your good work. My daughter-in-law comes from Puerto Vallarta, and I'm ready to come back.
Beautiful. Yeah, well, we're ready to have you back.
I would love it.
Love you so much, brother. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
for
so much.
That. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Have a great day.
You too, John. Thank you so much for sharing. We love you and your wife so much. Okay.
Oh, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Just keep putting your faith in God, because that's all He wants. That's how this is supposed to all work. So you're doing it the right way.
I and it resonates. I feel it. But like I say, this last day or two, I've just felt my energy level just skyrocket. I mean, it's inside, almost like amphetamines.
Wow.
And I know I peed out a lot of them too, because I had a doctor who used to give them to me. Bless you guys. You have a great day.
You too, brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bud. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm sorry I took so much time.
No, I'm so glad you did. So glad you did. Wow.
All right. But I'm hearing here. I'm going to watch on the big screen now.
All right, brother. Take care.
Have a great day.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Bye.
In this moment is for everyone, and is a reminder that we've all been conned at the most massive, prolific level. The very nature of both the father and the mother are that they're both healers. but they're healers on different planes, and we come from two planes. We come from the higher plane and the lower plane. The mother is the master of this middle way, of this middle earth, of the green earth, the good green. And the father is the master of the higher way, which is your mind. So the mother is the master of the body, and the father is the master of the mind. And they're healers. The healing hand is the creator. The creator is the healing hand, because they see all. Mother creates all physical life. That's how you know we're all brothers and sisters, pure brothers and sisters, because we all come from the one same father and the one same mother. So the Mother Earth creates all of our matter, all of our physicality. The matter comes from the mother. That's why it's called matter. And if you know your Latin, you know that matter, M-A-T-E-R in Latin, is mother. So matter is mother, and she is the healer of this physical plane, and the father is the healer of your mind. And you have been sold a faulty bill of goods in this notion that there is a man constructed in temples, in these temples built with stones, that there is a man constructed alternative to God's medicine and Mother Earth's medicine, and it's called modern medicine, and it's a big deal. I'm sure you've heard it. It's everywhere. And we pay the doctors lots of money. We make all these movies about doctors all the time, and we just hand over our faith because they wear a white lab coat and they've got this little apparatus around their ears and stethoscope and something, a pen in their pocket, and so you just accept everything that they say, because they often have sort of a scowl or a non-ambient countenance upon their face. So you just accept whatever they say without batting an eye. It's unbelievable. It's Satanism. It's satanical to the max. Modern medicine is not serving anyone or anything. And I mean that, because you think of all the great things that they do, such as, a person has a heart attack and they need a heart transplant. You're not supposed to have heart attacks. You're not supposed to have a heart transplant. You're a frugivore. Start living like a frugivore and you won't have these problems. They're out of a job. We keep giving them a job and they keep getting it wrong. Take a look at every single country in the Western world, and the second highest cause of death in hospitals is a mistake. The second highest cause of death in every country in the Western world is a mistake. And you want to go there to get your healing done? And then what have doctors become? Pill pushers for whom? Corporations which are ruled by a tiny group of people, and they control all the money in the world, and then they use that money to then work against you behind the scenes with all of these laws that your lawmakers are making. But that's where you go for your medicine. It's like, do you not know melatonin, serotonin, and dopamine? Those are the three kings. They literally are the three kings of Orion's belt. Orion is east. Orient is east. We three kings of Orient are Orion, T for the physical plane, and they came and gave baby Jesus melatonin, serotonin, and dopamine. And they'll heal anything. They'll heal anything. Melatonin gives you everlasting life. Serotonin gives you balance, therefore happiness. And dopamine makes you feel good that you're doing the right things, and so you stay connected in this warm feeling. And that's your medicine. And you've been sold this false bill of goods saying that some bullshit system out there is the way. It's not the way. Get back to nature. Food. How many people in the chat today already have posted in the chat, right? That let food be thy medicine. Food is your medicine from the mother. When you go into a grocery store, food is your killer from the hands of man. So when you go into a supermarket, just imagine this. that this is what the food is. It's two hands and they're strangling the life out of you. That's what a supermarket is. You go to the earth, to the mother, and then that's living. God is the God of living, not of the dead. And then I've got mental problems. I can't sleep, and I've got headaches all the time, and I can't slow down. I can't stop. It's like hand over everything to God. So what's the primary message in the New Testament of Jesus Christ? Take no thought for your life. That's your psychotherapy. And it's so funny because with Carl Jung, who's known as, the founder of modern psychotherapy and psychiatry, that all you ever know in the mainstream about Carl Jung is sort of that first 40 years of his life, and then the second 40 years where he said everything I did in the first 40 years I got wrong. Nobody knows about. Nobody's read the Red Book, and nobody knows about the second half of Jung's life, where he said, let food be thy medicine and let God be thy shrink, and then thee will have no problem. So it's hilarious. Like, it's sad and it's despicable, but at the same token, it's just like the worst joke that's ever been played, and it's being played on as nonstop. And so this reality that we live in is a complete subterfuge. Everything, and I mean everything, that you could possibly want to heal any moment, and I mean any and every moment, comes from the Father and the Mother. They do it all. They do it all for you. And all you have to do is allow them to. But God gave you free will. So it requires you doing something about this, which is to go, I can't get anything right. God save me, right? What has John done? John has said, I trust in you, Father, and I'll, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do this, and I trust in you. And everything is working because he's trusting in God. And that's all you have to do. So it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is a rich man into heaven. Because a rich man will not get off his camel. He will not take off his riches, his worldly possessions, and therefore he will not enter through the way that is straight and is narrow. And there's no other way. There's no other way. And it leads you to a point where you can't see in the distance, and you know there's a gap in the road, and it requires a leap of faith. There's no two ways about it. And the only way you can make that leap of faith is by knowing. And you know you're going to make it. Of course you're going to make it, because God is the God of the living, not of the dead. I'm making a leap to God, but I'm worried I'm going to fall and die. God is the God of the living, not of the dead. Of course you're going to make that leap. And when you know it, when you know better, you do better. When you know it, you succeed in life. And that's what John is showing us, is this knowingness and this confidence in God. And there's no better teaching I can give you. Don't call me your guru or whatever. God is. It's all God, and it's all Mother Earth. Trust in them. They are our true parents, and they love us more than you could possibly know. Trust in them, and nothing will go. But Charlotte, what about vitamin B12?
I fell for that too.
Charlie, where am I going to get my... I just said trust. Shut up and trust. Back over to you guys.
It's phenomenal that I've had a powerful ego. It's taken me all these years, and I still struggle with it. And one of my earliest teachers says, you got to die unto self. Another man, one of my greatest teachers by the man, his name was Dan Henry. And he told a story one time to this group of people. He told about a caterpillar. He says, caterpillar spins the chrysalis around itself. Last thing he does is cuts his head off before he seals it up. He says, but look at what comes out. That hit me so hard. And he told us about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I must have been the only guy in the room that got it. And these were some of the most powerful believers, teachers I had ever walked with. It's just crazy. I got people on my back now because I told them, I says, when you come to understand that the Antichrist is Christianity, you might be able to make some progress. And I mean, People will kill you for saying things like that. Back over.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today, brother. We really appreciate your insight and your testimony. It was truly, truly beautiful.
I used to be crazy, but I'm cured now. Bless you guys.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank
Love you,
you.
brother. Take care.
I got to go. Bye. Bless everybody, and thanks for the prayers.
All right, Sarah, you are up next.
I used to be crazy, but I'm cured now. Bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I gotta go.
Oh,
Bye.
You just have to mute your YouTube. That's it, Sarah. Just find on your internet stream where your YouTube is and mute it, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you.
hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Oh,
great.
great. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Justin.
Hey.
Wow. My heart's beating. I'm so grateful to be here.
Blessed to have you here. Like I said, Justin and I and Colleen, we're not kidding around when we say these are our favorite shows, because we meet you. That's real, and it's so beautiful. It's the best part of the shows, best part of our days.
Yeah, this is really wonderful. Yeah, this is kind of on the fly. So I did write down a couple questions. But like a lot of people have shared, I found you, Charlie Freak, about a year ago. And it was through Dr. Christian Northrup. She was saying that she listened to the two Charlies at the time. And I kept thinking, who are the two Charlies? I've obviously come away from the other one, but found you. And just within about probably maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I was fully into no more meat.
Wow.
No more dairy, no more seafood. I used to think seafood was okay, but it clicked. And I've always, my mom told me when I was younger, she said, you need to be a vegetarian, because I would always go towards the veggies and the fruit more than I would go towards anything else. So it's just perfectly worked out. So I don't know, just both of you, thank you. Justin's been a great resource. Had a couple one-on-ones with him and with you, and it's made this whole process a joyous experience, so anyway, so there's that. So I guess I could ask, there's a couple questions. Oh, and my husband's on board too, which is exciting. And he was an avid meat eater when we met. And we ended up watching that movie Game Changers together, which isn't great because they kind of go into the fake meats, but it is a start. And that really appealed to him. He found it. But we've just been on this journey, and we just keep going, and we can really see the benefits. So yeah.
Amazing.
So I guess I could ask a couple questions. My first one would be, so I'm in the state of Washington, and I'm a chiropractor, and I don't need to say the name of my practice, but one of the things I've been really working on is working with my patients, because I now know that every problem that they come in with, I was taught it was a subluxation, is because of their diet. I mean, 98% of the time it's because of their diet. So I have just a hard time seeing people come in who, they don't want to change, but I'm also seeing a lot of people who come in and they do want to change. I've had it, more and more now are asking me, what are you doing? You look great, things like that. So I guess my question is, what do I do with the ones that don't want to change? Because on some level, I feel out of integrity working on these people, and I do still charge for my services. I'm not quite there yet, but I feel like it's reasonable. So yeah, that's my first question. It's very frustrating. It's very hard to watch. Like, you keep drinking beer, you keep eating dead animals, things like that. And sometimes I just want to say, you can't come here unless you're willing to do the work. But I might destroy my practice and get terrible reviews and all that stuff. So anyway, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of approach that just from a very truthful perspective and just let them know, like, there's nothing I can really do for you if you're not willing to take a look at the root cause of these issues, and just be very transparent with them. And I think, you know, it's hard to know how people's egos will react to information like that, but we also shouldn't be consumed with fear for the reactions of others, and we should just stand in the truth. And it's not that you have to reject anyone outright, but just tell them simply, like, you're looking for something that I can't do anything about until you're actually willing to face the actual issues, and just share that. Maybe that's the gift you can provide them, and maybe they react poorly in that moment, but it's a seed that's planted later on, and it allows that, you know, so that magnetic flow to repel those that need to be repelled away, and to attract those that need to come to you. And where we just get to stand is in that trust and that faith that God will provide. As long as we stand in the truth, God will provide.
Yeah.
So that would be my kind of approach with that, if I was met with that similar predicament. But I'll hand it over to Charlie to see if he's got anything additional to add.
First, wonderful, Sarah, to meet you. Thank you for sharing all of that. I believe very strongly in chiropractic medicine, because we are the spine until we connect to the Father. So this 33-year journey up the spine is so important. And every you were saying 98% of their problems are all because of food. 100% of everyone's problems are of the mind and of the food. It's what you eat, both of the body and of the mind. And that's what television is. Television is making, you great business, because it twists them up in knots. And their spines are all doubled over because they're watching this stuff that is a lie, and they have to contort themselves to try to get around or deal or process with all of the lies that they're hearing and all the bad examples that they're getting. So it's incredible. So I think that I feel very strongly that yourself and naturopathic physicians, and isn't it interesting that a lot of naturopathic physicians have teamed up with chiropractors and have formed these nouveau offices that have a much more holistic approach to medicine. And that's what I really wanted to share and to say, is that this siphoning off of one's individual genius by splicing everyone into a specific field is another one of these huge problems with regard to the realm of modern medicine, because not one specific thing unto itself is the answer. It's a holistic understanding. It's the whole thing. And so there's no reason why you can't become a holistic chiropractor, and that your practice becomes everything, right down to the techniques. So it all has to start with your spine, and you need that posture. You need to become limber again, and becoming a frugivore, just observe what the frugivores are, and becoming that, so that we can be limber enough just even to be able to get into a meditative pose, into a meditative state, and to be able to practice yoga, this art of uniting two worlds into one through these yogic or chakric poses, along with the Buddha breathing, the Buddha breath, so diaphragmatic breathing, and so you have the world. You have the world at your feet, moving forward here, because with how awakened you are, and your husband on side with you, and your passion and your skill set, you have the opportunity to change modern medicine from this sort of barbarian practice and divide and conquer into going back to mother, going back to father, bringing, can you imagine bringing God into a chiropractic session and just saying, trust in your creator, because the creator made you perfectly. And if you get back to him, then he gives back the perfection to you. You don't have the perfection in your life because you don't have God in your life. So therefore, and God is breath. And so therefore I can help you with breathing, but it all starts with your diet. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking of the sessions, Sarah, that you can have with your patients. And God, when you do this, God is going to give you an abundance of clients, and your practice will runneth like a cup that floweth over, because that's your practice, is the cup that now floweth over to God. And so it's exciting. It's very, very exciting, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's how I feel. Is I'm I'm just in this jumping off point where I'm really starting to. I'm just these things are starting just to come out that I'm talking. As I talk to clients, and I don't know where it comes from. I know where it comes from. And I even have a client who was talking to me about what cancer is, and that cancer runs in his family and all that stuff. And I was just like, okay. I just took a deep breath and I said, actually, it doesn't. And I started to talk about what it does. And I started to break down the diet, started to break down the acidity of the diet and what happens to our bodies. And you helped me with that, you and Justin and everybody helped me with that, to be able to now, because I've heard it so many times, now I can start to explain it. Yeah. And it's so great, building that foundation. So thank you for that. I just feel more encouraged. And you're right, Justin, I can start saying, hey, if you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to start making some changes for yourself, then I can't do anything for you. And I have done that before in the past, and it's very honest, and people really do appreciate that. And they decide whether they want to work with me or not. And either they go or they stay, and it's better for everyone. It's a win-win for everyone, really. So
truth and transparency really is the absolute best. That when we have truth as our foundation, then everything else is better. That's God. God is truth.
Right. Yeah, totally. All right, cool. Well, that's really all that I have, mainly is for a question, but I just wanted to come in and thank you so much. So good to actually talk to you and see you, Charlie, and you, Justin. What a wonderful family this is. So
truly. Yeah. So glad you're a part of it.
Yeah, me too. Feel grateful. All right. Well, take care.
We're so excited for what's coming for you, Sarah. So we're with you. We're with you, and any help you need along the way, anything that we can do, just please let us know, because what you'll be doing moving forward in the future is the way, and that is the Christic way. And so we love you, and we support you 100%.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I will say real quick, I had a patient recently. She bought a juicer I suggested, and her whole family are starting juicing. And I had another patient who's just starting to lower the meat, increase the fruit and stuff like that. So it is happening, but yeah, your support will be really helpful as well. So yeah. All right. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Sarah. Bye.
Right.
Mwah.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye. So Justin, is this not always the greatest show to do? Hey, meeting everyone.
It's so incredible. It's just such a feeling of warmth and rejuvenation. I love it. All right, E. Keller, you are up next. Connecting to audio. There's your audio connected. Can you hear us?
Can hear you.
Beautiful. We can't see you, so if you want to, we would love to see your beautiful. Oh, there you go. Hi.
Getting there.
Oh,
Hello.
you popped up for a second. Say it
Oop,
one
so
more time.
here we go.
There you
I'm
go. Perfect.
I'm on audio video. Oh, geez, it's sticking on me.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Perfect. Hi.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Thank you for having me. This was very impromptu.
Yeah. We're
Hello,
glad to have you.
Charlie. This is so exciting. I feel like all I do is listen to you guys when I go to bed, when I wake up, and my whole other part of my day. I'm an attorney. Scary, I know, but it's very left brain. It's very ego. But this is where I really want to be. But I have to support my family, so I toe that line, and I get in where I can, the stuff that I really want to be doing and sharing, and I'm slowly getting there with my family, very slowly. And I have to say, I'm getting there because of the music, Charlie. Oh my Lord, those Sunday night sessions. I I would just kind of put it on in the background. I have a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old. And it just it speaks to them, right? They don't even know what music is sometimes now with what's on, what they're getting pummeled with. So it was a great way to bridge that gap with them. So just thank you so much, because music speaks to everyone, and their dad is a product of the 70s. So it's music they know, but they're just hearing it a different way. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I just can't even believe that I got on, because I'm always working, always working. So just thank you. As far as myself, I feel like I've been on this journey for over, I don't know, I've lost track of how long, but I have to bounce in and out of it for years upon end. I go through different phases. The diet piece right now for me is huge, because I had put on a lot of weight. And it's funny when Charlie talks about the etymology of the words. I was a classics major in college. I was brought up studying Latin forever and ever and ever. So I love the language. Probably part of the reason I went to law school too is because I just love learning, right? And I was collecting degrees. I felt as though I didn't really want to be a lawyer. I just like being in school because I like to learn. But now I have to unlearn all that and do your school, which is resonating so much more. But it has off and on through the years. So it's no surprise that I'm finding myself where I am now. Raised in the Roman Catholic Church. So everything that goes with that. Totally get it. I understand. I'm good with letting go of that. I understand how it happened. It's horrific. I don't know that I'll ever get anybody in my family to understand that, and that's really not my concern at this point. I mean, I'm not losing family over any of this. I'm very good about keeping what I do where I do it, sneaking in things here and there. I'm the weird one. I'm the youngest of 6, good Irish Catholic. I'm always the weird one. You're the weird one. You like tarot. You like, well, not necessarily tarot, but you like the woo-woo stuff. You wear the chakras, although they don't know what they are. I mean, it's been going on for a lifetime. It's almost laughable. I forget where I was going. Oh, the change with me right now, and it's interesting. I was saying about the Roman Catholic part, is a year ago, February, for Lent, I had decided to give up news. Because in addition to all this other stuff, I was a newsaholic. I was a news junkie completely. Talk about AM radio. I mean, it was all conservative, mind you. So I'm not that much of a loon. I mean, but I know there's only one party. But Trump came along and trying to save the republic, and it just was like all my worlds were melding all at once. Ironically, I gave up news in February before the pandemic in March, and it was the best thing I could have ever done. I would have been so wrapped up in that for the last year and a half. I don't know that I would have found you guys. Although ironically, as Sarah mentioned, I found Charlie through Dr. Christiane Northrup. She was kind of a godsend, and still is, because she's mobilized people all up and all around the coast. I mean, I'm in Massachusetts, she's in Maine, but I mean, it was a godsend to find you guys, because then I substituted all my news with you guys and similar people to you, and people have come and gone, similar to what Sarah said with the Charlies and all that. But you guys have been steadfast, and I just wanted to thank you for everything that you share and daily, and just to be able to pop you on when I go to bed and pop you on in the morning when I get up. And I just really wanted to say thank you. And I can't even believe I got on, because like I said, I'm always working, and we just got out a little early because of the holiday. So thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We're so
And I
glad.
talk a lot, and I talk very fast, and I apologize. I don't get a
No
word in, but
apologies. No apologies needed.
No, it's a blessing to meet you and to hear your story. And you know, the first thing that was just screaming out of me as I was listening to you speak is that moving forward, because of the world that's been created, we need lawyers. So can you imagine that the demand that will exist for a goodly, godly lawyer?
don't know, I haven't found any.
I mean, oh my God! It's just like saying to Sarah, your business is all over with people coming to you for your holistic chiropractic knowledge, and a holistic lawyer that operates through the mother, caring, compassion, with the truth of the Father and the power of Jesus Christ within her. It's like if everyone would be lined up out the door. Please take me on as your client, please, please. So you will be in demand. This is the way it always is with, with God, through God. It's always the way. Everyone will find their way back home eventually. And then those that are in alignment with that path that first receive the rewards and the benefits of aligning themselves with that frequency. So you said something really brilliant, and that was, in February, that's the hand of God tapping you on the shoulder. And he said, turn that stuff off. Because you're right. If you were still addicted to that in March, hard to know if you would have ever gotten out of it, because it's so disgusting and so evil. And but you did, and it just speaks so powerfully to me to hear that February to March, and that's God tapping you on the shoulder. So your future is so bright, and the way you're doing things with your family is perfect. Everybody's circumstances and situation is different. Don't judge yourself. We're certainly not going to judge you at all. And don't judge yourself for this. You're doing things. That's why I like to do the music. If we could do more with the movies, we would do so many movies to show, because then this is how the kids can pick this up in an easier way and bring this home, tie this home. So it's wonderful what you're doing, and you've got 2 huge fans in Justin and I, and 3.
Oh, I love Colleen. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful and just adds so much. I forgot to mention the movies. My son and I did just very recently finish Lord of the Rings, and fabulous. I mean, we're making our way backward a little bit. We're going to do The Hobbit next, but yeah, it's great. It's fabulous. And we already, when they were young, we did the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but we didn't make it through all of that. But these are always things that I've been drawn to myself, and it all, of course, is making sense now. Why was I always drawn to those things? Gee, I wonder. So that definitely helps bridge the gap, as opposed to, some of the more, kind of scary stuff that's going on. That they get a glimpse in a manner that can speak to them, and that trilogy obviously does the trick.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask a question if you have any, or if you just wanted to share.
A question.
Oh,
well,
that's perfectly fine.
No, Charlie kind of answered the question that I didn't ask. Is that I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, like I said, I support my family. I support myself. I would love to not have to rely on any of this fiat crap, but I'm just not in a position to throw in the towel. But maybe you're right. Maybe I just need to use the gifts that I already have and just find the right place to put those resources.
Well, you look at like Donald Trump is going to be the president to end all presidents. He's going to be the one who starts paving the way or to where we don't have government anymore. And so
Cyrus.
you
Yes.
yeah, so you can be the lawyer to help end all need for lawyers. Like, because we have to have a transition. We have to have a way to
Right.
get from this false illusory system and walk people towards that next step. So it's not just one flip one to the other. There has to be a step in between.
Steps.
So
Absolutely.
you can be that beautiful paving of the way to say, hey, there is another way. And I'm familiar with that old system, so I know how to help transition into that. So just finding little ways where you can weave into that, I think it's such a beautiful opportunity.
In my head, I'm thinking, oh, I just have to leave that because that doesn't work. And that's that whole admiralty stuff that you do, Charlie, is just, I remember listening similar. I always go to my car because I have to leave because people interrupt me, and I have dogs as well, but they like my attention almost as much as they like yours, and they do not like me talking to anybody. So I have to leave. And I remember being in this exact same spot at that whole admiralty law talk that you gave, and it was just shaking my head because I know all this. I know all of it from the side that it's happening, and then just to hear everything else, it makes me angry, it makes me sad, it makes me sick. And then I think, well, how am I going to change any of this? What can I do personally? But maybe that's not the right question. Maybe is, how do I not? I mean, where do I start, and who do I find? That I can't be the only person in this position. It's my background.
It's a great question to ask. Both of them are great questions to ask. And Justin was talking very astutely earlier about this transition and what are we transitioning from and to. So it's for sure getting out of the ship. It's getting out of the courtroom at sea, for sure. And then what their traditional system is what we teach, of course, is the system of the sheriffs. And that's the original circuit courts, because the sheriffs each had their circuits and they went around on their circuits, and all it was is mediation. And so that's it. So you don't need, all you need is God's laws, and they're three, and they're simple, and all you need is a mediator to come in and to simply be a guiding light, to be a lighthouse, and just say no. Maybe you're both at fault. Maybe we're all at fault. It doesn't matter, brothers. What we need to do is resolve this matter amicably, and then my job is done, and I'll move on. So this is how I see it. This is how I think we need to move forward in peaceful resolution. And then that is a gift upon gifts, because that's what law is, and everything was always meant to be so simple, that simple law. And so there's so much, and with the money thing, don't feel bad about it, because again, if you're connected to the system, it is a reality of the system. There's nothing you can do about it. And then if you backtrack away from it before you're ready, you put your family at risk, and that's not who you are, and that's not what you want to do. I'm not asking anyone to do that. It's so the money will flow to you in massive abundance now that you begin to do all of this through this one perspective, this one way, and it's all happened. Everything is done. All we're watching is a movie. I know at times it may not seem that way, but just look at the details with Biden. And
oh, please. If that's not a movie, I mean, then we are really screwed, because they've gone over the top.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. They had to. Yeah, they have to.
And it's funny you say, sorry, Justin. I was gonna say, it's funny you say about February, because then I just realized, looping a whole year now to this past February, I've really watched the intake on what I'm eating, and I'm down almost 40 pounds from kind of backing away from the food system, and having, similar to John, like I do what I can as far as the fruits and veggies around here. Who knows what they're spraying with? I try to bless, I try to do organic. I know God likes a trier, so I'm trying.
He will purify your foods. If you try, and if you bless, and you're trying to bless, he will come the other distance. If you go 10% of the way, he'll go the other 90%.
As I was waiting to get on, I get a message from my sister. I just dropped cuties off at your door because she knows I'm struggling to find the mandarins that I like. So I'm dropping my little trinkets here and there. Whoever will listen will listen. And hey, everybody notices when you lose weight, right? They don't necessarily care how, they just notice.
Mhm. Well, yeah, and I was gonna say, as far as financial transitioning as well, you know, if you're looking for a way to exit that financial need quicker, we've mentioned looking into silver, and that's going back
Right.
to that transitional
Yes.
space. Where if you
Yes.
can invest any portion, you know, don't stretch yourself, but if you
Right.
have extra to put it away in silver, there's
Yep.
no loss. There's no loss in it. It's a physical thing. So even if
Right.
worst case you had to resell it the next
Yep.
day, you're not going to lose anything. But that is going to be the transitional from
Yes.
getting from here to there. That we're going to have some segue in between, and so again, just reinforce that.
It's just amazing how it all comes together. And I watched the Abraham Lincoln movie. I mean, going back to the movies and silver, and as a kid, kind of being obsessed with vampires and not really understanding why, not in a good way. It's just crazy. It's crazy how it all eventually came together to this. And I feel bad for the people that aren't prepared, because man, they're just gonna be off the hook.
Well, it's all just.
They will find themselves steamrolled by this process. I was just going to throw out at you for your husband as well. How about Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band? And virtually every song that Bob Seger wrote was always about uplifting the mother, and it was always about Kundalini rising and connecting to God through the mother, and so beautiful. And he's the Silver Bullet Band, and vampire killer because he has to protect the mother, and he wrote in all of his songs about exalting the mother, protecting the mother. The mother is silver, the father is gold, we're the blue, and that's this alchemical process. And so you look at all these great stars, and they took this so seriously. They did, you know, and they left all these clues. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
To get more obvious, I know. It's just amazing. And you said the etymology. I can't wait till you do that book. I want to study that book left, you know, as much as possible. I love the Latin. You just were talking about mater, and I was so mad that my kids didn't take it when they were in high school, and I was going to force them, but what am I going to do? They have to live their own lives. But interesting enough, you talk about my husband. My kids were brought up listening to America, but now they're hearing it, you know, from a different viewpoint. So I'm meeting them where they are, right? It's best.
Yep.
Best I can do.
That's
Well, I don't
all
want
we
to take
can
too
do.
much of your time. I can't even believe I got on. This is my holiday treat to myself. Thank
Yeah.
you. And I just, when you get deplatformed, it's so sad, but Tony's so good about sharing your stuff. I found you on Telegram, and obviously I follow Justin on his page and through YouTube. So there's always a way.
Always
Thank
a
you.
way. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
all
Thank you.
perfect. Today was perfect. You were meant to be here, so
I
I'm so
was meant
glad.
to be
Mhm.
here. Thank you very, very much.
Of
Love
course.
you both.
Love
Love
you
to
too,
Colleen.
sister.
And I love the dogs. Oh my God, I love the dogs. Thank you.
All right.
What a treasure, Justin. Again, like this is the best. This is the treasures, just vast treasures.
It is. Wow. 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 To just get, I mean, this is a dream come true. Like, I just get to show up and be me and share my love for seeking the truth, share my love for God, and then just have all of these beautiful family members just come and commune with us and just get to spend time and bliss, absolute bliss. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, so that's about all the time we've got for today. Did you
I've got one thing I want to add, and
yeah,
it's
please.
that keeps making the rounds. It's been a little bit in the chat room and stuff, and I'll address it again. People, and this is always people who find themselves in cities, and it's always people who find themselves often in just the worst cities, the cities that have the lowest frequency and vibration going. And they say, you know, Charlie, I hear you talking about this being a movie, but Let me tell you, living here in New York, living here in Los Angeles, living here in Toronto, living here in Vancouver, living here in London, I can attest that it doesn't feel like a movie at all. I see chemtrails over my head every day. If they really are in charge of this, why am I seeing chemtrails? And I see, lockdowns. Australia's in a third, the UK's had 2, pressing on a third, and they're pushing the jab, and everyone I know has got the jab and stuff. And boy, it doesn't seem like a movie. Yeah, that proves that it's the movie, because the only way to help wake, remember, whether you agree with it or not, John F. Kennedy famously, and that's President Kennedy, 35, President Kennedy famously said, "Where we go one, we go all." And for whatever reason, the Q team has made it their moniker, "Where we go one, we go all." And while maybe not everyone agrees with that, the fact of the matter is to take those that are the most inured in the system, the ones that are screaming I'm a Christian, I love God, I love Jesus, but corporation, give me that jab, because I don't know anything about an immune system from God. I didn't get that part. Give me the jab. To save these people, you've got to take them, and I cannot stress this to you enough. And if you watch movies, then you know what I'm saying is true, because they do it to you in movies. You have to take people to the precipice. And we're not even there yet. It's moving. We are in the eye of a hurricane. There's no doubt about it. We're in the eye of a hurricane, and the hurricane is moving. It's hard to see when you're in the eye, because we're one with God. God has got this now, and he's moving us all forward. It's his plan, his way, and we're moving. Sometimes it's hard to see. But to shake those people out of their slumber, you have got to push them over the edge. You have got to take away the 2x4, and they've got to rely just on that one limb, one branch of that one last tree, the one root that's sticking out from the side, and there's a sheer 1,000-foot drop beneath them. It's just the way for people who have already fallen so far. It's the only way. Get the metaphor? These are fallen people. So only being hung over a precipice with a 1,000-foot drop below will they get it. Will it resonate with them, because they're in such a fallen state and a fallen form. So when you see the jab and everyone's dying from the jab now, do you really think that President Trump and the Q team would allow, they're in control of every government, and I've shown you this time and time again through the takedown of the cabal, and how the mainstream media has shown you the things that occurred. Do you really think that President Trump and the Q team are saying amongst themselves that, yeah, we really need to stick it to these people, and let's kill as many as we can with this cabal jab, and let's hit them again with the chemtrails? Or would you give them the illusion, and then your diseased mind does the rest? You don't need toxins in a vaccine. All you have to do is take the jab and then go, should I have taken the jab? I've heard a lot of stuff about the jab, and I don't feel so well. I don't feel so good right now. Oh God, I should have taken this seriously. Oh God, I've allowed mercury, and I've allowed all these toxins inside of me. I'm going to get so sick. I'm going to be sick. And then you're sick. Our mind does it all for us, and our minds are not in a good state, being dragged through all of this. So you just need to know the chemtrails, harmful. Let's hit them while they're down, says President Trump. Let's just kick them in the gut while they're down, and let's nail them with the chemtrails. Or is it chemtrails without the chem? Is it just trails, and then your mind does the rest? You see, you're in hell. And I've said this to you, and I don't know how many times it takes for me to get this through to you. You're in hell. if you're still willingly stuck in London or Vancouver or Toronto or New York, good Lord, Washington, D.C., you're in hell upon earth. You are. And it takes a ton to wake you up. And so this is what's happening. This is the greatest movie ever made. It means they've spared no expense to wake you up, to entertain you, which is to get in there and take their hand out and put God's hand back in. So this has to be real. This has to look so real. And that's what you're seeing. But don't think for a second that the jab has got all of its poisons in it. Don't think for a second the chemtrails have got all their poisons in it. That's been done. But they need to continue to give you the illusion until you go, enough already. I'm not going to take this anymore. And either the Q team does something, or we're going to start a riot tomorrow, and we're going to take this upon ourselves. And that's what we have to do. We have to get to a point where we're saying, I'm not participating in this any longer. I am not cool with this insanity. If you're in London, if you're in the UK, and you're following the policies of a Boris Johnson-led government, at this point, good Lord, the man's an idiot. Beyond all the other things that he is, he's an idiot. And you just have to say, no mas, no more, no more. And if you don't like this plan, and if you don't like how serious this is, if you don't like how in-depth this is, then we shouldn't have let it get to this point. But we did. And so now we just have to grin and bear it. We have to just accept this is it. Tighten our belt a little bit more firm, and we're going to get through this, and we'll get through this together. And that's why Justin and I give you nothing but hope and strength through the truth of Jesus Christ and God, because despair leads you only one way, and that's down. That's to hell, and that's Satan. And that's not what you need. What you need is enough strength within you, enough hope within you, that when the time comes, and it's not here yet, but it's coming. It's coming, and each and every one of you are going to be given one last chance, and it's going to be a chance where it's going to look like that maybe I wasn't telling you the truth about the takedown of the cabal. It's going to look like maybe, even to most of you here, it's going to look like maybe Trump isn't in control. Maybe there aren't the white hats. Maybe. And that's this last chance for all of you. And that's this leap of faith. And during those days, there's going to be more people going, oh, I don't think Charlie Freak was telling the truth now. I think that maybe he was just making it all up and it's all hopium. You're going to get driven to that point. You are going to be driven to that point, and then that's your last chance to get on the right-hand side of this. And you need to get on the right-hand side of this, and then the change will come. But if you've been on the wrong side of this, then Revelation talks about what your reward shall be. Get on the right side of this. What have I taught everyone from the very beginning? Outside of everyone else who was saying Q and Trump and everything else, I said from the beginning, this is God's plan. And that Q and the Trump team are only administering God's plan. It's God's plan. Trust in God. Trust that He knows what you can and cannot handle. Trust that He knows where He's steering you is the right way, is the right place. Trust that at the perfect moment, not a moment too soon and not a moment too late, He will pull the lever and the game will transition. This game will end, and then reality will set in. The beauty and the grace, the perfection of the Father and the grace of the Mother will set in. Trust. I'm trying my best, and that's why Justin and I have been doing these shows, specifically these kinds of shows, because what we're trying to prepare you for is what's coming, and it's coming soon. And that's going to be this last chance for you, and that's going to be that Bruce Wayne in the pit of hell, and he has to make that leap, and he can't do it with a rope. He cannot make that leap with a rope. So you're either all in with God or you're not. And that's where you're at. Whether you like it or not, that's reality. And so it's time to choose, my friends. It's time to choose. Whom do you serve? I know where I stand. I know where Justin stands. I know where virtually all of you here stand. And that's going to be enough to get us through. It's always enough. It's always more than enough. And it will work. But whom do you choose? And that's your choice in every moment.
Yep. Can't serve two masters. And yeah, well said, Charlie. And just like we did that show on Sunday, you know, that's why this movie is so important, that it's done so perfectly, because the programming is there. They installed a piece of malicious software that could be tapped into and activated if we are stimulated in a certain way. So if they came out with shocking information with the truth without having warmed us up with by bringing us to the precipice of this, that's like the disaster mode, where we just fall back even further than we did before. We fall back even farther and farther down. And that's what they're counting on. That's what the cabal is counting on, is for us to fall into that pit, to where they could just come back in and gather up the pieces and resume their plan as they wanted to. So this movie, led by the White Hats, the Q team, has to be so meticulously played out, and it's not timeline based. There's no time that it has to take in order for it to come about. It is event based, and it's based on our decisions, our choices, and how long it takes for us to come aware of it. So when we see people in cities and places that are still doing the mass thing and still doing all of this kind of stuff, it just means that we need more. They need to crank up the heat. And I'm sure it's quite a difficult decision to be orchestrating this movie and having to have real life consequences be put in place that help turn up the heat so people actually see it and come to terms with it. But it has to be done. It has to be done this way. Otherwise, we're going to, like I said, we're going to fall back even further. Um, so it just has to be done this way. And for those who are still in this, well, why is nothing happening? And oh, I'm suffering because all of this is going on. And it's like, get out of that victim mentality and do something to make a change in your life. You know, if you've got family that's rejecting you because of the truth that you're sharing, read the Bible, read the book of Matthew, look at what it says about you. You might have to leave your family because they are not your true family. Our family is often the ones that hold us back, and it's not the case with everyone all the time. Sometimes we come with very loving and supportive families, but other times our family is the ones that are holding us back the most. So maybe this is God saying, hey, this is time to move on. This is time for you to find your true family. Or if you're in a city and you're tired of the chemtrails and the masks and all that, well, why are you still there? You know, like we can always make excuses as to why things can't happen, why I can't make something. But are you really taking those steps, or are you just letting the fear consume you to keep you trapped and keep you in that mindset? Because the whole point of this is so that we take ownership of ourselves. So we truly stand in our divinity. We truly stand in the fact that we are children of God and that we are powerful, and we can do anything that we put our mind to, as long as we have that faith and that trust in God and let him lead us. And so find ways to empower yourself and find ways to stand, you know, further in this truth, and to stand in right action, and God's going to lead you exactly where you need to go. But if you stay in that space of poor pitiful me, look at everything going around me, I'm a victim, then that's exactly what you'll be. That is exactly where you'll stay, and that's exactly where you will remain. So it's all a choice, and that's very much a part of that choice too. So yeah, you know, each and every one of us is being given tasks and lessons and opportunities to go through in our own particular way. God is presenting us with the perfect amount of opportunities to provide us to learn and grow in this whole experience. And so if you don't want to embrace those challenges, if you don't want to embrace those opportunities, then they're just gonna be a struggle. But when we embrace them and we see them truly for what they are, then we can recognize that they're spaces of activation. They're spaces where we can see that God is leading us to that space. And this is the way that we grow. This is how we rise. This is how we continue to rise. So stay in that space of empowerment. Get out of that victim mentality. Make sure you're doing the work. This is all micro to macro. We have to defeat our internal cabal if we are to get rid of the external cabal. It's as simple as that. So what are you doing? What are you doing internally? So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Perfect. It was a perfect show again, and you did great, Justin, and everyone who was on the show, just miracles, and just such a gift. There's another Trump rally tomorrow, and someone was pointing out, I think Hippie Shake was pointing it out in the chat. I wanted to bring that up really quickly. Is just that in Canada, there have been multiple incidents of Canadians knocking down or pulling down statues of Queen Elizabeth in Canada. And for that to happen in Canada, that's monumental stuff. And that would never have occurred in Canada unless Canadians were pushed over the edge of a cliff and were hanging there, and we're seeing who their real enemies were for the first time, standing over them in a position of understanding. And then they got up, dusted themselves off, and said, no, I understand what's going on. To hell with you. And then they knocked down statues of the Queen. And that's exactly what we have to do. Never would have happened unless we were pushed over the edge. January 6th was that day. January 6th was that day, and that we were all pushed over the edge at noon. And on we go, onwards and upwards. So again, if you're criticizing all of this and you hate all of this, these are the very people who risked everything to save you. And they would have been the first ones to go, and all of their families would have been the first ones to go. And when you find out that the Trumps all of them have had body doubles and triples and whatnot, don't let that bother you, or don't let that maybe make you feel a certain way. They needed protection, because this is serious stuff. These people will stop at nothing. So there's all sorts of precautions. When you all this finally comes out and you see how well orchestrated this plan has been and how deep this game has gone, you'll finally come to see why it took so long, why it's had to be this way. You're dealing with the worst of the worst. Remember, the very people that are making your supermarkets are the same people that gave you hardcore porn. The same people that are providing you with the jabs for your inoculations are the same people that are making snuff films. The same people that are passing your laws to protect you and give you freedom and democracy in your country are the same people that are kidnapping, torturing, drinking the blood of, and then murdering in that order, your children. It's bad. It's bad, and it's bad because we fell asleep. And I can't sugarcoat this for you. All I can say is that what's coming is incredible. In truth-able, the furnace within, and it's coming. That's what's coming. And then we're never going to go through this again. And Justin and I will be here, Colleen will be here to ensure that we never forget and we never fall again, ever. So it's tough, but we've made this for ourselves. We've dug a gigantic hole for ourselves, and it's tough slugging getting out of it, but we'll get out of it. So stay on the path that is straight and narrow, as Justin tells you every week. Do the work. Don't bitch, moan, and complain. Just do the work. And if you're in a city and you don't like it, get out. It's really that simple. So
yeah, and if you have situations where you truly can't change the external situation around you, then change your perspective. We have all the power within us.
Right.
But you have to go within. That's the simple truth of it. So yeah, beautiful show, powerful ending. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you all to all the beautiful guests that were on today. We love meeting all the family, and yeah, that's about it. I think announcement wise, don't have too much coming up. Well, I will resume the show with Tony next Wednesday. So the health show, I had to pause that just because I was traveling this week, and then but we'll resume that next Wednesday. I'm probably gonna do. Oh, we might have. I'm not sure. I'm still working on the Mankind's Quest for True Health for next Tuesday with Casey. That's a maybe as of now. So I'll let you know if we're gonna have that or not. And yeah, I think that's all the announcements for me. Did you have anything, Charlie?
That's it. Let's
Cool.
yeah, we'll see you when we see you, and stay together. Stay together. There's strength in our numbers in our family. So this is the time to rally around one another, not turn on one another. We don't want to be the turncoats. Okay, we're the blue coats.
Yep. Rally around the truth, and we'll all gather. All right. All right, guys. Well, we love you much, and we will talk to you next time.